Friends, Father Frank Pavone here, Director of Priests for Life, bringing you my daily diary segment, covering the days of Thursday, June 23rd through Monday, June 27th of 2022. Well, these were certainly momentous days. Let's start with Thursday the 23rd. I did early Mass in the chapel here and taped it for a later broadcast, and then had email work at my desk dealing with the preparation of certain videos that we're producing and also arrangement for media interviews. And then I had my usual morning phone calls with the administrative team, and then the all staff meeting. After that, I met briefly with our political outreach associate, technology associate. That was 9:15. I went into the studio just before 10 o'clock because the 23rd was one of the days that the Supreme Court was issuing decisions. So we went into the studio and we awaited the decisions while broadcasting and looking at the Supreme Court's blog. And we did a little bit of photo shooting in the studio. The Dobbs decision didn't come that day. At 11 o'clock, I had a taping of a pro-life news show that we produce here at Priests for Life, therefore was also in the studio at that time, did a little additional desk work after that. At 12 noon, I helped to lead the devotional for a faith-based call of people associated with the RNC, and we had a great time over the phone there for about a half an hour from 12 to 12:30. I had a quick lunch, very quick. By 1 o'clock, I was back in the studio and did an interview with one of the candidates for Michigan's race for governor. Then taped a spot after that for Right Side Broadcasting, and then had another interview at 2 o'clock. These interviews were for my Praying for America program. After that, I came back to my office, did some additional work at my desk, some communication with some dioceses that were asking some questions, with some secular media people who were asking some questions, and saying yes to some other invitations for media interviews. That brought me up to 3:15 when I continued my work on my laptop in the car on the way to the Orlando airport, where I had to check in for my flight to Atlanta. I got an early dinner once I was there, got on the phone and caught up with other staff and administration, flew to Atlanta. Flight was somewhat delayed. Airport was pretty crazy, both in Orlando and in Atlanta, but I finally got to my destination. One of my staff people picked me up in Atlanta, and we went to the National Right to Life Convention, which was taking place there in these days. Settled in, met up with my team, did some planning with them, and then went to bed. That was Thursday the 23rd. Friday the 24th turned out to be a momentous day with the issuing of the Dobbs decision overruling Roe versus Wade. The day started very early with some work at my desk, and then I went into the schedule of the conference, which began with a Mass that I said for the Catholic participants in the convention at 6:45 a.m. And so we started setting up for the Mass at about 6:15, said the Mass, preached to them, and right from the Mass went into the 7:30 a.m. prayer breakfast for the convention. Took part in that, and then right after that was in the exhibit area. We had an exhibit table, so I went to our Priests for Life booth. I was greeting people as they were going into the various workshops, and then we set up shop at our exhibit booth. Our youth director was with us, Brian Kemper, and we went live on broadcast, connecting with our main studio here at headquarters. And we opened up the Supreme Court blog once again to look for the decisions that were coming out. One decision came out at 10, and then the second decision 10 minutes later was in fact the Dobbs case. So that changed then the contour of the whole day. We announced to the people there and to the people on the broadcast that Dobbs had been decided, that it was overruling Roe versus Wade, and we continued broadcasting about that. We brought on various leaders and people, including the legislator from Mississippi who authored the law that the Supreme Court was reviewing in this case. And we had a great time rejoicing and celebrating with the people there at the convention who were in the midst of workshops. But obviously at that point, everything stopped as we were all embracing and jumping up and down and rejoicing. I had a workshop to give at 11:15 as president of the National Pro-Life Religious Council. I had other council members there. It was a workshop about church leadership on the pro-life effort. And so we gave that workshop as planned. The workshop concluded at 12:15, got a quick lunch, and then I had a number of interviews. I had an interview at 1 o'clock and did that up in my room, set up my laptop with Skype and all the right lighting, and I did that 1 o'clock interview. Right after that, I did a 1:45 interview, also right there from my desk. Then after that, I had to go back downstairs and give another workshop. So that workshop was starting at 2:45 and lasted for about an hour. That was a workshop about how to overcome apathy about pro-life in various denominations. Then, right when that workshop concluded, I had to run back upstairs because I had another interview at 4:15. I did that interview and then had another interview at 4:30. Did that interview and had another interview at 5 o'clock. Did that, and Brian was kind enough to bring me up some quick dinner in a bag. So I ate dinner in my room while preparing for a 6 o'clock interview. From 6 to 8, I was doing interview work, and then went downstairs and networked with some of the people down in the convention area until 9, and then I went back upstairs and had an interview at 9:15 on Newsmax. By the time that was finished, it was a good time to go to bed. That was Friday the 24th. Saturday the 25th, I got up and had an early breakfast at 6 a.m. and then went over to the room for Mass and had Mass for the people. This time it was a little bit later. It was a 7:45 Mass for the Catholic participants in the conference. Prior to going down for breakfast, by the way, I had I approved an email to go out subsequent to the election call that we had a couple of nights earlier, the training seminar. We do a follow-up email to that, so I gave final approval to that, and I also approved an appeal that was going out. So I did those things before breakfast, and then after breakfast and Mass, then we were networking. We spent the time greeting, again, talking with all the various conference participants. Sometimes I was in the entrance area to the convention area, and the other times I was at our exhibit booth, or other times going in and out of the various workshops. So many people that we've known over the years, in whose communities I've spoken, and so forth. We did all that networking. Then Brian Kemper had an afternoon workshop, and I joined him for that. He gave the workshop, and then we had an evening Mass at 6 p.m. I celebrated that Mass. The celebrant was one of the priests of the Atlanta Archdiocese, and he was very kind to introduce me to the group. I also had some other email work that I was doing. I had to, in between all these different things, send out some comments to some publications that were asking for my reaction to the Dobbs decision, as well as approving more materials that our staff was sending out via email. Saturday, after the evening Mass, there was the closing banquet of the convention, and I participated in that and greeted all the different pro-life people that were there, again, many of whom I knew from over the years. Sunday the 26th, I was up early, did a couple of emails responding to various notes of congratulations and joy about the decision. making sure that our statement was out there to the media from the National Pro-Life Religious Council, approving various appeal letters and changes to our website, as well as other emails going out. So I did all that work on my laptop as I was getting ready to fly to Tampa. So I went from Atlanta to Tampa, where I was met by the pastoral team of a bishop, Bishop Aubrey Shines, who has a national TV program and has a church there in Tampa. He wanted me to preach on this Sunday after the reversal of Roe v. Wade, and so I went there, was warmly received, enthusiastically received, and sat down with him. We had some breakfast together there in his office, and then we went into the sanctuary. I preached for an hour, and then he did a little stand-up interview with me, greeted the people afterwards, went to lunch with him and some of his pastoral team, really had a great time, and then went right away to the airport. And actually, we went to get the car of an assistant that was with me, and then we drove back from Tampa to Titusville, where our office is. When I got back, I had plenty of work to catch up on right here at my desk, and also just to be on the phone, checked in with family and with some of my team, and various time of extra relaxation and prayer Sunday afternoon into the evening. Wrote some cards, birthday cards for donors. I had a lot of cards to sign, and for some bishops as well. And then before Sunday was over, went into the TV studio again and did a 9 p.m. live broadcast and shared with you all and many other viewers my reactions to the Dobbs decision. Went to bed after that. Monday, the 27th of June, was a day starting off again with early Mass, which I taped for later broadcast, and then interviews starting at 7:05 a.m. I did a radio interview, and then another one at 7:20 a.m., and then a Newsmax interview at 7:40 a.m., and then squeezed in a quick breakfast and did another radio interview at 8:15 a.m., and then 8:30 had our staff meeting, and then began the work of the morning here at my desk, meeting with various staff, planning for different broadcasting, etc. Let's see, we did then all that for the course of the morning, and then after lunch met with our technology associate, then had another radio interview via Skype, and then taped some other materials, had a show at 3 o'clock with Janet in the studio. We did a beginning of an analysis of the Dobbs decision that we will do over several nights. That was a 3 o'clock taping. Did that show, came back to my desk, had a 4 o'clock radio interview, did more work at my desk, greeted staff, got updates from them, had a quick dinner, did more work at my desk, and then went back into the studio and had an 8 p.m. live show for Praying for America. Great audience. People were very interested to hear about this decision. Did some email work, approved our next travelogue, did approval of a schedule of broadcasting and upcoming trips. And that then brought me to a very late dinner that I went to after the broadcast, went about 9 p.m. for that. So that was the 27th. So those were the days between June 23rd and 27th. I appreciate you watching these daily updates. It's nice to review all these things with you, and I hope you're encouraged and inspired to work hard for the unborn as we continue this victory. God bless you.